We're live, yo, and just in time, Fox. We just launched 2-minute warning football theory. We're back at it again for week 12 discussion. It looks like we got a full panel tonight. I'm your host, Shimmy, along with my co-host, Spoony, and we got our special guest on tonight. It's a full house. We got Dula from the NFL Combine Station, and then we got objectively biased one, Mr. Fox, coming from his place of biz. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. Tim, what's up, man? How's it going, fellas?
It's going good, Shim, Fox, Kyle. We seen a couple of some guys coming back to play, like Josh Gordon. We have it looks like an end of an era for the New York Giants and Eli Manning. And I have to say,
Tim, about that. You know what I was thinking about tonight? You know what we're going to do tonight, Tim? I know you've been a part of the show for a long time, Tim, and I'm not sure what we're really going to do in the future, but how about this? We're going to have you sit this show tonight, Tim, and we're just going to bring in Santos, who's never done the show. How about that? Does that sound good? No? It doesn't sound good? But, I mean, Ben McAdoo's a genius, right? That doesn't sound good to you?
Oh, my God.
Huh? Is this all right, seriously. All right, let me get my rant off first before we begin this lovely little show on November 28th of 2017. For one, have you ever seen Eli Manning in a bad tabloid ever? Have you? No, unless it's one of those U.S. Weekly tabloids that you see in your local supermarket right there next to the candy, where it's like Alien Baby was born from the Batcave from Oprah Winfrey. But other than that, you've never seen Eli Manning do one bad thing. He's never even had a misdemeanor. He's never even slapped a woman in the face. He hasn't done anything bad. Not only that, he's delivered not one but 2 championships to the most, I guess you could say, media-focused place in the United States, which is New York and the Big Apple. Really? And a healthy scratch for Geno Smith, who we already know is a buster in this league, a buster of getting his jaw busted. And we're giving this guy the keys just to take over healthy scratch Eli. I mean, this guy, don't get me wrong, we should be starting, or I shouldn't say starting, but sitting Eli in the second half to see what we have with Webb. Because, yes, he's a draft, and we have to see what we have with him in real game scenarios. But come on, man. The only scenario I see in which this isn't okay, all right, I'll go with it, move, is if somebody is calling right now for Eli Manning for next year, and it sounds sexy with the draft picks or whatever may be coming in. That is the only pass I will give. But right now, you 212 games. This guy has been an Iron Man for your organization, has done everything by the damn books that you could only possibly dream and imagine that your franchise quarterback would oblige to, and you're doing this to the guy. Fucked up.
Damn, Shim. All I gotta do is say is, listen. All right, I'm not gonna troll. I'm gonna say it again. Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, he is. Why? Because of the great moments he had during the playoffs. I mean, moments was probably the best I've ever seen of any quarterback. We're talking about 8 road games. 8 road games total on the road to win the big one and outshine the better quarterbacks. Talking about Aaron Rodgers, Tony Romo, Tom Brady 2 times. We can go on. He's been there on side with the best. He looked better than the best. And, all everybody want to do is put up stats. His numbers is top 10 in passing yardage. Okay, he's never but 20-12 starts, never missed a game. Hey, Shem, that's dope. I mean, how many quarterbacks in the league today have done that? I know Aaron Rodgers didn't play 20-12 games yet. Tom Brady, is he on that list? No, he's not on that list. So I'm sorry to say, for all the Eli Manning haters, I know I'm a Cowboy fan, but we're going to keep this real. The man's a Hall of Famer. You know what Eli is? Eli is like that the girlfriend, you know, she may not be as hot, as sexy, as gorgeous as your ex, but she holds you down. She takes care of you. She holds you down lovely. I mean, lovely. What she has done for New York City. He's up there with Derek Jeter, Lawrence Taylor. Respect. So I'm not mad at the New York Giants. Well, I will say I kind of wish they would have, you know, respect him a little bit more differently, where by letting him play out, maybe just start for the first half and then bench him the second half. But I understand the move. The Giants want to move on. They want to see what they got. And these guys like Webb, they're going to possibly pick in the top 3 of the NFL draft, where there's a couple of quarterbacks they may want to look at. So salute to Eli Manning, Hall of Famer.
Ooh. Fox, you got something to say?
Eli's not a Hall of Famer. Look, I applaud the move. They need to do it. Now, one of two things are going to happen with this move. They are either going to, like Josh and I discussed, trade Eli. They're either going to trade him in the offseason. If that's not the case, then they may get rid of Reese, or they may not get rid of anybody in that front office and say, this is your one last shot. We're benching Eli now. We're going to wait this out. And next season is going to be yours, Eli's, and your coaching staff's last hurrah, because you've convinced us that we had a championship caliber team last season when we went out and grabbed all these defensive players. So I could actually see this working and backfiring on Giant fans, because I think Giants fans, Josh, if that happens, you said you're going to get a brain aneurysm? Your head might fucking explode if that happens.
Oh, man. Look, I'm going to be very short about my remarks about Eli Manning. There's a song. I encourage all of you to listen to it. It's called "All Alone" by Blind Witness, and I encourage you to go to the 151 mark of the song, and I'm gonna repeat what the lyric says. The lyric is, and you know, I'm not giving it justice. You have to listen to the song, but the lyric says, "What the fuck is going on?" Because that's my question. What the fuck are you doing? I don't get this. This. Look, you're going to get a top 5 pick. You're going to win maybe 3 or 4 games. It's a terrible team. What are you doing? You're trying to evaluate what you got in Geno Smith? I think you know what you got in Geno Smith. I'm puzzled that, you know, this isn't for Davis Webb, the guy you drafted in the 3rd round. If you're going to tank, I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure the Giants can tank, right? Geno Smith's going to mess around and win 4 games. That's what's going to happen. They're going to win 4 games. They're going to pick like 8th, and people are going to be like, oh, there's hope for Geno Smith. When we know good and hell well, Geno Smith is a backup at best. I get it's a business, but outside of Lawrence Taylor, Eli Manning's brought the most to this franchise in how many years? Granted, there are other people. You had that defense, but who are the Super Bowl MVPs, right? Outside of Lawrence Taylor, I don't know if there's a bigger New York Giant in terms of influentiality, in terms of winning and bringing it. Maybe Bill Parcells, but player-wise, outside of LT, it's Eli Manning. Sad. I hope they just cut the guy outright and let him choose instead of trying to, control his destiny. And now, how do you break his streak, right? What has he ever done to deserve any of this outside of just look doofy as hell? Which I have no problem with that.
Well, I want to add on to that, Della, another thing. First of all, Fogmeg, and I don't understand how you're saying the man's not a Hall of Fame, number one. Number two, he won't be traded because nobody's not going to take that cap money. The Jaguars know that if Eli Manning is only going to want to play with him on that squad. That's it. So I don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars making a trade effort for Eli Manning. I don't see any other team but the Jacksonville Jaguars that Eli Manning will play for. So I think they're going to cut him. If they do trade him, it's Eli taking a big cut, and he's a Manning. He's not going to take no pay cut. You're going to have to cut him. He'll collect his paycheck from the Giants for the cap, and also he'll get paid, I guess, whatever, maybe like a $10 million deal for the Jacksonville Jaguars, in my opinion. But Eli is a Hall of Fame. You cannot say he's not. The man, it's not about just winning Super Bowls. He has certain numbers to get in. But what's the first argument? What's the first argument that people always bring up, fans always bring up when you compare quarterbacks? How many rings? How many chips? That's the first thing they bring up. He has more chips than his brother. Well, he has 2 deserving ones more than his brother. Okay, he has more than Aaron Rodgers, more than Drew Brees.
So he's a better quarterback than them?
Excuse me?
He's a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and Peyton Manning?
Oh, he's a better quarterback?
He's a better quarterback?
I'll tell you this right now.
I'll tell you what, Tim. I'll tell you what. We'll end it. No. We'll end this conversation right now. 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 Over the last 15 years, has he ever been statistically or publicly considered? Has he ever been statistically or publicly considered a top 5 quarterback?
If you want me to say,
answer the question. Answer the question.
If I can't answer the question, you can't. You're talking to me.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no.
It'll be a yes and a no with explanation. My answer is yes. You know, I'm gonna say yes. You know why? I'm gonna say yes. And anybody here could go on a live chat. I'm gonna say why Eli is better. You know why Eli is better? Because check this out. When I buy something from the store, full participation. Eli has given the Giants the full participation, whether at home and away. 2 Super Bowl rings in New York City. Is done. What? Oh, I know he does. He's performing fantasy football for you guys. What has Tom Brady done? Oh, wait. Tom Brady has looked good when Eli's not there.
Oh, yeah, because Eli plays great defense against Tom Brady, Tim.
What has Brees done? Look, Eli's doing this. Look, this is Eli. Look, Eli's doing this right now. Look.
Stephen Ass Smith right now.
Excuse me?
You sound like Stephen Ass Smith right now.
No, I will never sound like Stephen A. Smith. You know why? Because guess what? I understand I'm bullheaded. That's one thing. I ain't trying to say nothing. I love you, Stephen A. Smith. You're my idol. Number 2, I'm just keeping it real. Everybody want to look at, oh, nah, this man's better than this man. Oh, because it's Aaron Rodgers, because he does the championship belt. What has he done in the NFL? I mean, he on the road game, he doesn't win big road games. What road game has he ever won? Wait, I recall Eli Manning.
You're right. Eli Manning is better than Tony Romo. Eli Manning is better than Dan Marino, better than Peyton Manning, better than Drew Brees. Shit. I guess he's better than Fran Tarkenton. He's better than Johnny Unitas. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling, Tim.
Fogman. Let me ask you a question, Fogman. Name me one receiver on the New York Giants is Eli Manning ever had that's better than Drew Brees receivers, Peyton Manning's receivers, Tom Brady's wide receiver, and Drew Brees' wide receiver. Or Phillip Rivers. Name me a receiver that he has won with. Something that a lot of quarterbacks can't do. Play with different set of wide receivers every fucking year. You got to give him props for that. Offensive line, he's never had a great offensive line. He's better. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. The Giants don't spend money like that.
He has a very good pass protection offensive line, Tim.
Oh, wow. They know. Will Beatty? Who is it? Who is it? Guys in price.
We can look at numbers. Go look at Football Database. Look at Football Outside. The numbers are there. Check it out.
But that's the problem. But see, that's the problem. When you got to Google the names, that means the names are irrelevant. When I can say a name out loud, like I can say, hey, Jeff Saturday, that Peyton Manning had, oh, that's a name.
Can you name anyone else on that offensive line?
Because I'm a Cowboy fan, arguing for Eli Manning, but I'm keeping it real. The man was never surrounded with great names. I recall a guy, Michael Strahan and Tiki Barber gave up on Eli Manning. Oh, I recall Tiki. You know what's funny, Sam? You know what's funny? I get when they go around the barbecue table and it's Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Rondé Barber. It's funny when that sunlight is hitting and they got their rings on like this. Look, yo, so can somebody bring me a hot dog? Well, Tiki, since you only went to the table without a ring and you doubted Eli, can you go there and get me that hot dog? Some catch me mustard line, you know, this season. We love all the good stuff. I could imagine how that table looked like. And I'm going to say, everybody want to doubt Eli. You know why? See, here's the thing. Again, it could be that you could have that gorgeous female who don't do shit for you. But you got that one who cook, clean, do everything for you. She's okay, but she satisfy you like a motherfucker. And that's what the fuck Eli Manning is to the New York Giants versus the other quarterback chicks that think they're that good. They make you believe they're good, and they're not that good. They're okay. They haven't won nothing.
Eli Manning is.
You know what's funny?
You're right, Tim. You're right.
I mean,
congratulations.
Let's think
you're
about
right.
this now. Carson Wentz.
Congrats, Tim. You're right.
Quarterback. Where's Rodgers at?
Dallas getting their ass kicked by Philadelphia 2 weeks ago has completely caused you to lose your damn mind. But it's okay, Tim.
Oh, fuck. Here's the thing about Dallas and Eagles. When it comes to the Eagles, y'all go in that wishing well, throwing so much pennies down because here's the thing. We've seen y'all 9-1 before. What happens? Nothing. Nothing at all. So you can enjoy the season, but you won't be enjoying the playoffs.
See, my views on Eli is he's a very smart man when it comes to the X's and O's of football. But when it comes to the mechanical talents of being a human being, this guy probably couldn't play hopscotch in his own front yard sometimes with the way it seems he is on a scramble or just trying to do a shovel pass most of the time to a guy 5 yards in front of him. But other times he can definitely miss some of his play. And that's what I was telling Fox. Yes, I'll agree. He's been an average to at other times slightly above average quarterback. But when he got to the playoffs, the 2 years he got to the playoffs, when he was in that locked in mode. Sorry, he's excited too, and he's a little mad at Jerry Reese. But when he got into the locked in mode, there was no other QB that I would ever want playing for my organization the way he played, especially on the road. That year, I believe it was in 2011. Just a monster, the way he was locked in. But you're correct. When you look at the overall tenure of Eli, average, slightly at times above average. And what's going to do it for Eli is it's the hardware. It's the accolades. And if Donovan had gotten one, don't you think Donovan would be in the Hall of Fame if he had just gotten one?
They probably would. I wouldn't put him in.
And that's what it's going to be. Just because Eli has two, you're giving an average two.
Eli just doesn't have two. Eli has something that there's a lot of quarterbacks that are about to jump into this category. Eli's in the top 10 in total touchdowns and total yards, which is something that was highly coveted. Correct.
So his Hall of Fame is more towards his tenure and his longevity and Ironman status as well.
Well, it was also something that it was highly coveted I want to say, greatest show on turf. Statistics now, there's 13 quarterbacks in the NFL that have thrown for over 45,000 yards in their career. 8 of those 13 either played 90% or the entirety of their careers post greatest show on turf when rule changes began. That defenses we're now just seeing defenses recover and figure it out with all the rule changes that had occurred to favor offense. So his numbers are inflated because guys like him, Matthew Stafford has a chance to go over 45,000 yards. Is this guy a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Without the hardware, unfortunately, he's not going to be. I think that's what it's starting to be in this day and age.
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say something about the Go ahead, Tim. I lost it. It'll come back to me in a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Kyle, you had something to say, Dunlap? I'm sorry.
I was gonna pull a shot and say we got to move on.
I mean, listen.
Yeah, we could do that.
I agree.
Stella's right. We're gonna move on. Eli's a Hall of Famer. It is what it is, and I'm gonna keep it that way. Watch that. McFadden couldn't get one.
He had to get his last 2 words in.
All right, fellas, are the Rams a Super Bowl contender after beating the New Orleans Saints, snapping their 8-game win streak? I'm gonna say yes. I said that the top 3 teams in the NFC was the New Orleans.
Yes.
I said yes. I did say yes. Why not? Why shouldn't the Rams be up there? They are up there. They beat top teams this year. They're not like the Eagles, who have got caught up with placing bad teams. I mean, it's not their fault, it's the schedule. But I think the Rams are. You beat. In my opinion, you beat the best team in the NFC at home, and I think the Rams are. Listen, I love their coaching staff. That's number one. You got Wade Phillips there. You got McVay. Okay, yes, you got a quarterback who's young, but so is the other one who plays for Philadelphia. Remember, number 1 overall, number 2 overall. I love the surroundings. He has a better surrounding of players than the Eagles do. Sammy Watkins, Todd Gurley. There's nobody on the Eagles better. The only thing the Eagles have on offense is better is the tight end position. That's about it, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I like the defense better. Well, except the front four. I'm sorry, I'll scratch that. Eagles defense, I'll take. The Rams are a contending team. I mean, there's really no experience in the NFC right now but Drew Brees out of quarterback.
No, they lost to Case Keenum. They barely beat a Saints team who was lost pretty much their main defenseman on Sunday. Yeah, and they don't even know how to use their number 1 wide receiver who they drafted first overall. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago? And they still don't know how to use him except as an X slot wide receiver weapon like a Dante Hall was back in the day. Yeah, they're definitely Super Bowl contenders.
Go ahead, Dilla. Just destroy that theory completely.
That they're Super Bowl contenders?
Yes.
I think they are. Do I think they're better than Philadelphia? Absolutely not. Do I think they're better than New Orleans? Oh, God, no. But here's what's good about the Rams and here's what's bad about the Rams, right? You talk about their defense, good defense, right? They're terrible against the run, though. You can run on this team. They're like 28th in the league against the run. So while it's hard to throw on them and it's hard to score points, you can run on them all day if you want. And we've seen in the past, come playoff time, if you can get ran on, it's not going to go so well for you. You talk about their offense. Again, their offense is, it is what it is. But if you look at their quarterback, Jared Goff is fine. It's just look at where the passes are going. They throw a lot of hitches, bubble screens, all these kind of gimmicky type. Because if you look at their receiving core, you got Robert Woods, Sammy Watkins, you got Tavon Austin, who is this gimmick / type player who I don't know why you take a gimmick / player at number 8 in the overall, but whatever. I'll chalk it up to they were in St. Louis then and didn't know any better. But I just got concerns that the way their offense is built around Jared Goff, longevity of it, I got questions about. Do I think they're a contender? Sure. Do I think they'll be playing come Super Bowl time in the Super Bowl? I think they got a little ways to go.
Well, you just named all the reasons why I say they're not a Super Bowl contender. I don't see them beating Minnesota. I don't see them getting past Philadelphia. Yeah, they got past the Saints, but are they really, come playoff time, is this a team that I believe can beat the Saints? No. All 3 of those teams are in the top 10 in rushing. Playoff time comes, it's going to be a different animal. And like Dola just said, they're relying a lot on Goff. Now, there's a something that came out where McVay is actually, you see, they're running a hurry up type of offense. He's actually calling the audibles. So they're lining up early, and he's actually calling in the audibles for the plays prior to the headsets actually going out, which is very smart, but it also lets you know that Goff has problems reading the defenses. This team is going to be good in the future. They are not a contender right now.
Yo, can someone tell me why they paid Tavon Austin all this money? My man's got 42 receiving yards on the year.
They thought he was going to be the next Deshaun Jackson.
Tavon Austin was paid with Jeff Fisher when he was the coach over there. But here's the thing. I want to ask you, man. I want to ask you this. You say they're not a contending team. Full contending team?
Right now? Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. What's the difference between the Philadelphia Eagles with Carson Wentz and Jared Goff? Two quarterbacks with no experience in the playoff. Two. What's the difference? And mind you,
I'm going to give you the difference. Right now, the Rams have a better running back in Todd Gurley, right? But they don't have a better rushing offense. There's one major difference, okay?
Yeah,
Rams, like you said, Rams, like you said, they have they have better talent at the wide receiver position. Yet Philadelphia has been more efficient at that position, at the wide receiver position, and Carson Wentz has been more efficient at that. Carson Wentz has actually thrown the ball down the field. He's averaging over 7 yards per attempt, where Goff is averaging less than 6.8 yards per attempt. That's dinking and dunking. Okay, so there are huge differends there.
Well, shit, Alshon Jeffrey himself the past 4 weeks have probably killed the whole Rams' whole total of wide receivers.
No, he hasn't. The only game that he went off on was the last game with the Bears. Now, I'm glad you said that about the passing attempt, Fog, man, because here's the thing I want to ask. It's another quiz, Fog. Carson Wentz passed the ball. What team was he facing at the time? Because I look at Jared Goff. He's facing more of a competitive team. Who the Eagles played against? That is so good that he's dunking that ball so deep.
What competitive team? I'm sorry. What competitive defense has Goff faced?
Well, I'm saying the Rams.
No. What competitive defense has Goff faced? Who have the Rams played?
He faced the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. And when was that?
That was 2 weeks ago. They lost. Okay. All right, but who the Eagles have faced?
I was say, yeah, that game didn't go so well for him.
You lost against the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that everybody. You say passing offense, right? If you're great passing,
5 weeks of the season had everything clicking on all cylinders, and in the last 6 weeks of the season, they are a shell of who they were. So cut it out, man. Cut it out, Tim.
Did the Chiefs have Barry when y'all played them?
Boy, you're really bitter about the Eagles, man. It's going to listen. You got 4 rings. It's okay.
Oh my
It's okay.
God.
You can use the ring argument.
So the
it's okay, Tim.
So
it's
okay.
okay.
The Rams are not a contending team, but the Philadelphia Eagles are.
Yes, Tim, and let me tell you why the Philadelphia Eagles are. Wait, Tim. Here's something the Rams. I'm gonna tell you something that the Eagles and the Saints do that the Rams don't do. It's actually 2 things. They run the ball a lot better. They stop the run a lot better. That's why the LA Rams, in the long run, can't go anywhere. They're terrible at stopping the run. They can't run the ball. That's what it comes down to. Nothing to do with Carson Wentz, nothing to do with Jared Goff, nothing to do with whoever. It's about stopping the run and running the ball. Plus, those teams who can do that usually go far.
All right, so Della, match you this, brother. Match you this real quick. 2 weeks ago, when we had a pick out of the 4 NFC East, the 4 division leaders, I picked New Orleans teams number 1. I got laughed at. But for some reason, for the last 2 weeks, their writers saying the Saints are the best team in the NFC. Because why? They can beat you with the run.
Here's why I laughed at you, and I did laugh at you. It's not that you picked the Saints, it's that you picked the Saints and put the caveat in, but they're better than the Eagles. That has nothing to do with the Eagles. If you think the Saints are a superior team, so be it. But It was all based around your hatred for the Eagles. That's why.
Negative. Listen, I don't listen. See, here's the thing. I don't hate. Do I hate the Eagles? I do hate the Eagles. But if I gotta pick what's right and how I see the Eagles, I don't think the Eagles are that a scary team. Why? First of all, offensive line, number one. They have not faced anybody yet who can get to the quarterback. For now, can that hurt a team going forward? Yes, it can hurt a team going forward. If you have not faced a competitive team or face a defense that will put you against the wall, you'll face that in the playoffs. You can fold. That's been known.
Tim, they're just playing their schedule. You know, it's not their fault. It's not their fault the NFC East is a complete shit show. That's 6 games. It's not their fault. Look, they finished 4th last year, right? It's not their fault that they drew the 4th best team in the NFC North, which is the Bears, which they were terrible, and the 4th best team in I forget what other division. It's not. They're just playing their schedule, Tim. You can't fault them for that. This isn't college football where you can schedule your non-conference games.
I'm not taking it away from the schedule. That's their schedule. But what I'm trying to say is, when I see a team better competition, I got a better feeling for that team versus you haven't really faced anybody. A couple of weeks ago, also was saying that he don't like how Carson Wentz don't from getting hit. You lost. I mean, again, they haven't faced a great defensive team to go against their offensive line. They've been fortunate. Nothing against the Eagles. Right or wrong. You have said you do not like the way Carson Wentz protects himself. So what do you think is going to happen when you face like the Saints? I mean, or the Minnesota Vikings, who got some sort of defense. Or the Seattle Seahawks.
Just curious, where do you rank Carolina?
Oh, I'll tell you about y'all better than Carolina. They're not even my top 6. I keep it real with you. They're not in my top 6 at all. Carolina is still sketchy. I don't know what the identity is. It's the only thing they really have. It's not good.
So their defense isn't a top 10 ranked defense. They're not top 10 at getting to the quarterback with sacks. No, that's not a top 10 defense that could have tested Philadelphia in any way, right? No.
I will say this. The reason why the Eagles beat the Carolina Panthers is because they know what they're gonna do on offense.
Do you write down your excuses before you do these shows? It's impressive how you pull these things right out of your ass. It's unreal.
How you figure that?
I applaud it.
I'm just coming up with the real deal. You ask me a question, I'm keeping it. Carolina is not my top 6 team. There's teams in the Detroit Lions. To me, in my opinion, are a scary team. They're a scarier team than the Carolina Panthers. Okay. My Dallas Cowboys last year is more scary than the Carolina Panthers this year. So I'm keeping it real. Atlanta Falcons are a scary team. If they get healthy, they stay healthy.
I don't even know what's the topic anymore. What are we discussing?
I mean, why did you ask me a question? So
anything dealing with the NFC at this point,
I'm thinking
the Eagles in any part of the conversation is going to be derailed by one Timothy.
Because I swear Tim had the Panthers in his top 4 teams last week, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't remember.
I'm not. All right, we're gonna move on. Should the Kansas City Chiefs bench Alex Smith? I'm gonna say if they want to do it, you got to do it. I'll say no. The race is too tight. It won't be fair for the rookie because it's nothing gonna change for Patrick Mahomes to come in for Alex Smith. Teams already seen how they use Hunt. They're shutting it down. He hasn't had 100 yards in about 4 or 5 games. They finally at least got a cornerback in Darrell V, which is an upgrade over that left side to help Peters out. But you got to keep Alex Smith, fam. It's a tight race, and he's still the best quarterback going forward for that team.
Let me direct you to Shimmy's big board over here, if I could. Let me just get through this real quick. Okay, here we go. Sunday, You can clearly see Robinson starting on the outside, coming right here through the middle, and he doesn't even see it at all. I'm going to play that one more time again for you guys who didn't see that, because this guy is just missing everything. This is a completely different Alex Smith than we've seen weeks 1 through 5 than we have now 6 through 11. Completely misses him on this outside. All this space out here, completely just ignored Demarcus Robinson. I'm going to bring you to the next one right here. Circled guy. I believe that's Robinson, who's going to come to the 20 and cut in. He's going to have all this space right freaking here. Hello, Alex Smith. This guy, he's just not seeing plays anymore. I'm going to bring you to another miss with Demarcus Robinson yet again on the outside. I don't know if this was a design play for Kelsey, but again, right here, wide open in the middle at the 40. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And then we're going to go to another one yet again on Sunday. Demarcus Robinson on the outside. All of this. It's insane. It cannot get any easier with this. I'm going to go to Kelsey right here. Kelsey on the outside. Whoop! Hello. Hello. Are you kidding me? Let's go to one more. This is the pregame ending interception. Right before the pregame INT. Hello. Hello. You can't get any more open, Alex. Let's go to the and here it is. Finn. This is all she wrote. Ooh, who's that? Is he open right here? Yeah, he is. But let's throw an INT because I'm Alex Smith. Yeah, you know what's going to happen here? I do see a change of the quarterback coming real freaking soon. Real soon. It's going to happen.
No, I don't see it happening. They're still in contention. The Raiders aren't great. The Chargers, who knows anything about the LA Chargers these days? Denver's done, but it'd be different if they were done. It'd be different if they weren't in the hunt, but they're very much so in the hunt given who else is in their division.
Well,
I don't see it happening.
Not just given who else is in their division, who they've got left to play. I mean, it's other than the Chargers. Maybe the Jets at home. That's a game the Jets could actually turn around and pull one out and surprise everybody yet again, like they've done this season for no reason. The Chargers are the real deal, and I'll say this: if the Chargers win their next 2 games, and the Chiefs lose one of those next 2, I wouldn't be shocked to see Mahomes in. Depending on what happens in that Chargers-Chief game against the Dolphins or the Broncos the last 2 weeks of the season. Because at that point, you're going to have to turn away from Alex Smith because like Josh just showed, that he is not driving the ball downfield. He's looking for he's playing scared. That whole team is playing Andy Reid conservative football. They're not running the ball. They're not getting good push off the line of scrimmage. They're not feeding Kareem Hunt the way they were in the first 5 games of the season. Their play calling, the offensive line blocking, and the way Alex Smith has been playing is all contributing to the way the spiral that is the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
Not to mention, Fox, I was reading on the Chiefs forum earlier, and a lot of them were saying that Jeff Schwartz and Travis Kelce had hinted at the same exact thing when talking to media about how defenses, starting with the Giants, played cover 2 and they never really switched up. It's coming from a lot of the inside of the locker room too. I mean, these guys, once they lost to the Giants, and if that didn't light a fire under their ass against the Bills, I don't know what the hell's going on with those guys' mindsets right now, because cover 2 is not brand new to football. Nope. There's ways to beat it. And if these defenses are not switching up from the cover 2 and Alex Smith is just running out of the pocket and dinking dunking, it's not good right now, man.
Well, in a cover 2 defense, you got to hit that turkey hole. And Alex Smith just can't hit the turkey hole. Matt Stafford can. Aaron Rodgers can. But you got to hit that turkey hole in that cover 2. Otherwise, you're toast.
Yeah, it actually started with Dallas because they played a cover 2, and Kareem Hunt didn't rush for 100 yards that game. And that was when the Chiefs came off.
I'm a big Mahomes fan, man. I think it's on tape when we were doing our draft party. I wanted Patrick Mahomes in blue to sit behind Eli.
Now, Patrick Mahomes, I guarantee you, he can hit that turkey hole.
Mahomes is going to be a stud. They need to start that boy soon.
He's got the
where
arm.
are they
to
going
do it.
right now? It's not looking good, and Alex Smith is just going to keep going.
Here's a concern about Patrick Mahomes right now is that he's going to throw a lot of picks. I guarantee he's going to be a pick machine to start. But once he gets past that phase,
What if he's a Deshaun Watson right off the bat, and he's just a spark to that offense?
Deshaun Watson was a little more judicious in the ball. Even if you go back to Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes would just fling the ball from all types of angles because he has an arm, right?
He's a gunslinger.
So he's going to make some exciting plays, and you'll be like, holy crap. Like Tyreek Hill would love him, you know. Kareem Hunt's going to love him. But, damn, he's going to throw some interceptions, too, where you're just like, where are you going?
Yep.
All right. Next one. What are the changes needed for the LA Raiders?
Las Vegas.
Excuse me. The Vegas. See, Sim, thank you. God bless you, man.
It gets confusing.
That,
it really
that's
does.
how much we don't care about the Raiders. They haven't done anything.
We don't care where they're moving.
Hey, see, I know Della right now. Della, do you want to do the honors, Della?
What?
About the LA Raiders, what changes are needed, Della? I know you need to do the honors, Della.
Man, fuck the LA Raiders. No, in all seriousness, no, I'm dead serious. I mean, look, this is the same team who your number 2 receiver. Every time they play Denver, he has to hide his chain because he's gonna get punked. Although he did fight back this time, that was funny. I did enjoy someone standing up to Aqib to leave because he can kind of be a bully. And I don't think anyone saw that in Michael Crabtree. Seeing as how just every defensive back shits on the guy. Starting with Richard Sherman. But what could they do? They got pieces, right? They got their quarterback locked up for better or for worse. They got a number 1 receiver in Amari Cooper, who I wish he'd show up week to week. They got Jared Cook. I wish he'd be more consistent. They got Crabtree. You see where I'm going here? I just wish their offensive skill players would be more consistent. I don't think Marshawn Lynch is going to be there much longer, so you got to figure out something at running back, whether that be in the draft or not. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if Lynch hangs it up after this year. Their defense worries me. They got pieces. They just have not been able to pull it together, especially in their secondary. You got a hard hitter in Carl Joseph. You drafted Gary and Conley. After that, I don't know what they're doing. So I think they need to get some. So what's up?
Where's Conley been? Injured?
I think he's been hurt or he's just not playing, which tells you something. If he can't beat out David Amerson and TJ Curry, then I don't know. But that's really it. I just think they need coaching wise. I guarantee you, if they miss the playoffs this year, that hot seat for Jack DeRee is going to start to heat up.
I think the real's gone. I think the real is gone after this year. I like Carr. Listen, they have a good team. They have a very good team. The defense was the problem, my issue. They have a lot of decision-making to do, Shim, when it comes down to Amari Cooper. Are they going to pay him? You got Khalil Mack. Are they going to pay him? It's a lot they have to think about. It's going to start with the head coach. They're going to get rid of Del Rio and replace him with somebody. I don't know who it could be. Yeah, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Jim Harbaugh comes out.
Come on, stop.
And coaches the Raiders.
Stop.
And he fits. Listen, right? He
Stop.
fits. I know. I said, guy, Della. I know from Michigan.
Have you not seen what happened to him in San Francisco? How you think that's gonna fit there with that ownership? You really think that's gonna be a long-term thing?
You don't think they're reasonable? I mean, I know the 40 with Jet York and them was crazy, but you don't think the Raiders are reasonable to say Harbaugh? I mean, it's a big name. The guy, listen, you had Kaepernick. No disrespect to the Kaepernick fans out there. I'm just saying, a way better quarterback, a better team. All you got to do is sprinkle some defense over there, bring your staff. I mean, I'm just mentioning Harbaugh. Harbaugh wants to come back to the NFL.
I'm going to reiterate again on the show that Del Rio's never won his division ever as a head coach. So, yeah, get rid of Del Rio. I mean, he's a bum. He's just serviceable there. I guess he's a bridge gap, butterfly, little bandage, whatever you want to call him. But the Raiders, they have a couple pieces they need to look at. Linebacker especially. They don't have the north and south linebackers that you need. Yeah, Khalil Mack is a beast, and he's a great run stopper, but he's not much of a pass coverage linebacker. And neither, Navarro Bowman, he needs a full 72 hours just to warm up before game day. You look at the line. The line was touted as being top 3, top 5 even going into this season. But you look at that right side of the line, I think that's causing a lot of the troubles, especially with the run game. And obviously that's hampering the pass game if they can't run. You got that Gabe Jackson and Marshall Newhouse tandem over there on the right side. It's kind of bad. I could tell you, especially watching Marshall Newhouse for a full 32-ish games. Yeah, he's awful. He is bad. So I feel bad for you Raiders fans having to endure him for this season. He's just an absolute turnstile. He's garbage. So and the slot receiver with Seth Roberts, how the hell is he even like in the starting lineup still? It's like 3 years. He's been like one of the worst graded slot receivers in the league, and I just don't know how he keeps life in this Raiders offense. It's amazing. Cooper's just been a shell of what he was in his rookie year. He's got to fix those drops. He's just losing focus, and now it doesn't help with Crabtree getting suspended for what seems like 2 games because he barely even played that game. So, but in the draft, I would have to say it's been looking like the offensive line is the most important piece to the freaking football team that we've been talking about for the past couple of years, it seems. And I would go linebacker next because, you want a perfect example? Sean Lee. Without Sean Lee, the Cowboys are winless. With him, it's like an 11-point or 12-point difference in terms of points allowed per game, and the yards allowed it's almost in like the hundreds for yards difference. It's amazing. So linebackers are key, and that's what I would go if I was in the Raiders position for coming up for next year. And yeah, I think if you're gonna make some major changes, why not get rid of the head coach at the same time and see what's out there? But yeah, you got to see what's out there before you get rid of Del Rio, because if there is nothing, can't really do that, can you?
Yeah, no, they gotta hold on to Del Rio until you see what happens in the offseason. But let me read off a couple of names here: Indianapolis Colts, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New York Giants, San Francisco 49ers. They're all right there next to the Oakland Raiders. You know where that is? Shittiest pass defenses in the NFL right now. And they've been there 2 years in a row. So they lost players in that secondary this past year in the offseason. And they replaced nobody. There did no replacing defensively whatsoever. So, yeah, they're going to be drafting. They're going to need to address the linebacker position because they can't get pressure on the quarterback. And even when they do, it's straight pressure. It's not like you're getting covered sacks because they can't cover anybody. And in that offense, you guys touched on all the points. It's consistently inconsistent. There's nothing else you could say about it. The only thing consistent is that you can almost bet a Vegas line that Crabtree and Cooper are going to drop at least 2 balls in a game.
All right.
I just want to reiterate, fuck the Raiders. That's it.
Fellas,
what happened to that Cowboys-Raiders Super Bowl?
The one that everyone wanted to see.
Yeah.
Right.
The ratings. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Tim?
Yeah. I got you. Fellas, can the Green Bay Packers with Brett Hundley make the playoffs? No. Already?
As long as they're playing the Steelers secondary, yeah, they might.
I mean, Sim, what do you think?
We've talked about Hundley a couple times on the show. In the beginning, I was a little optimistic, but then if you watch our tapes, I became suddenly a little on the downside with Hundley. he has a little bit of that Alex Smith in him. He misses some of the open targets that he has. I think it's a little bit of too much pressure on him, maybe. I guess you could give him a nice game for the Steelers, but again, yeah, you could put that more on the blame of the secondary. I think you probably could have put Blaine Gabbert in there, and he would have lit it up for 3 or 4 touchdowns.
The Packers are 6-5. Am I correct?
5-6.
Losing record. Yeah. Okay,
so you got the Buccaneers next. That should be a win right there. You got the Cleveland Browns after that. Oh, now they're gonna have 2 division games: Minnesota and Detroit Lions, the last game of the season. I'm just saying, if the Carolina Panthers drop a couple of games because they have a tough schedule ahead, or Seattle, remember Seattle's playing the Philadelphia Eagles next week, I think Green Bay has a shot.
Tim, Tim, I'm glad you said that. Let me ask you a question.
Yes? Yeah.
Since Brett Hundley has been the starter for the Green Bay Packers, how many games have they won?
It's a trick question, Tim.
They won.
Who'd they beat, Tim? Who'd they beat?
Excuse me. They beat didn't they beat the Bears? They beat the Bears.
Beat the Bears.
Chicago Bears. On the road. Day after that, they played Baltimore. They lost to Baltimore. Listen, I mean, he's played 4 games. The Saints game, he came right in. He came right in. They had a bye. You had Detroit Lions. That's the second game. The third game, he won. The fourth one against the Steelers. Listen, he only lost that game because of the defense. Big Ben made a great play to Antonio Brown. To distance with the number 2 defense in the NFL in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's props right there. He's coming along.
Tim.
Well, hold on a second though. If y'all want Pat Mahomes to play for the team, what do you think? He's gonna come right in and just start winning some games? He gonna come go with some bumps and bruises as well?
I never said that at all, Tim. I think you're. What good reason do I have to think that the Packers with Brett Hundley as the quarterback could beat the Bears or the Browns or the Buccaneers at this point? What good reason?
That's because the Buccaneers right now are playing with Fitzpatrick. They're not doing too good. I mean, they had a good game against Atlanta last week.
Seen the Packers defense lately? You see how bad their defense is?
But all right, but
that defense is right there with those other aforementioned teams I was talking about when I was talking about the Raiders. The Packers were right there.
Okay, but here's the thing. Now, just ask you guys this: what defense? Who has a great defense in the NFC in the playoffs position besides the Minnesota Vikings?
Philadelphia, the Rams, the Saints.
Pardon me. Pardon me. Excuse me. Pardon me. In the
Carolina.
Pardon me. I'm talking about in the wild card, not the top 2 where you're gonna have your division.
I just gave you 5 teams that are in the NFC that are in the top 10 in defense.
So Carolina got a top defense?
Yeah.
They do.
Yes.
So, all right. So okay, I'm glad you said that. Let's. I'm looking at it right now. I pulled it up. In terms of defense, in terms of what do you want? Scoring defense? Do you want rush pass?
I mean, is this? I'm not even looking at that because I'm saying if you bet to the Panthers, the Jets went toe to toe with the Panthers. You're telling me they have a great offense?
Tim, you're talking one game versus entire season. That's a big difference.
But I'm saying, but don't the last few games going into the playoff matters than what you did? There were numbers could have cost you in the beginning of the season. Brett Hundley only played 4 games.
Because, for example, Brett Hundley had a very good game against the Steelers, right?
Defense. Number 2.
Meanwhile, the previous 3 games, he was terrible.
But he just can't. But bro, he just came right in there, Della. He's not gonna. I mean. We all just said Pat Mahomes for the Chiefs. We want that change, but he's going to struggle.
Yeah, that's a misnomer because he came into that Vikings game. I'll give you that. Then they had a bye week, and then they saw Detroit, and he got lit up against Detroit.
Yeah, but, I mean, score for score. I mean, listen, he was
horrible that game. He was horrible. Then they beat the Bears, but he wasn't that great there. They go against the Ravens. He throws 3 picks against the Ravens. Tim. I understand the optimism, right? And I understand the idea that Browns are bad. But Green Bay is bad. I mean, we're talking bad versus bad here. We're not talking about average versus. We're talking about bad teams.
The only way the Packers actually make the playoffs with Brett Hundley is if Brett Hundley turns into Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers was carrying that team. That's how bad that defense is, Tim. That's how shitty of a coach Mike McCarthy is. That Aaron Rodgers has carried the Green Bay Packers over the last 5 years.
Here is the Packers' best bet to reach in the playoffs. It's going to be as Brett Hundley as the backup if Aaron Rodgers can come back in Week 15. That's their best bet right now.
I'm sorry, Shim, you got anything to say, Shim?
No, I pretty much agree with these guys. I really don't. It still cracks me up that there's still. I don't know why, but Ty Montgomery at running back to me is just laughable. It just seemed like the formula for a winning team to me. They got some holes, man. They got to work on it, especially when even Aaron Rodgers was at the helm. They still had struggles at the line position too. He just masked it so much because of his ability.
Here's my argument. You got Seattle Seahawks. You got the Carolina Panthers, right? Those are the two teams right ahead of the Green Bay Packers. You got the Carolina going to New Orleans this week. You all said Saints got a nice defense, right? We all agree Carolina offense can be shaky. You got Minnesota playing Carolina right after that. Then December 17, you have the Panthers versus the Packers. Now, here's the thing. Between the Panthers and Saints and Vikings and Panthers, you got the Buccaneers playing the Green Bay Packers and the Browns playing the Packers. Now, Fogmag, his best team in the NFC, the Philadelphia Eagles, quote unquote, what he thinks, they playing the Seattle Seahawks, who are also fighting for a spot. All I'm saying is this: those teams can cancel each other out, take that spot in there because you're playing a favorable matchup. You're not playing against top teams going in. The top teams against the wild card teams cancel each other out, and Green Bay's in the midst of it. Like, oh, all we gotta do is win the first two games, the next 2 weeks, and then we're gonna play the Panthers. I think they can make it 2 games. If you look at the
Lions or Vikings.
Listen, I'll tell you this right now: Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, the New Orleans Saints, the Rams, and the Vikings got those 4 spots secure. If I got to bet money, I'm picking Detroit over Seattle, over, I'll say even the Packers. Packers are playing Detroit last game of the season. Again.
But we're not even talking about Atlanta. Atlanta's right in the hunt.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, Fog. That's true. But it's still 2 spots.
The Packers are the odd man out. Packers are the odd man out.
We'll see. We will see. All right. Next topic. Oh God. Dallas Cowboys released Darren McFadden.
Yeah, can you give us an insight of why they did this, Tim? I'm a little interested myself.
I'm gonna say why. Dallas Cowboys fans, no disrespect. I love y'all. I love my team. But we are dumb. All this talk about McFadden being the savior for the Dallas Cowboys if Ezekiel Elliott is he got suspended. The man suited up for practice for 1 week before Zeke came to practice that Friday when the judge said he could play. McFadden, after that, never been suited up. I question, okay, now McFadden, he asked for his release. Now he be tired. But what I questioned was, why did we carry this man for all these weeks to play him? See, this what baffles me. Like, we could have used his spot to bring somebody in. We were dumb. Dallas Cowboy organizations was dumb. Jason Garrett was dumb. Now that the Cowboys are making some moves that I know myself and other fans was saying they should have been made these moves because they were hard about the spot, safety, running back. Now they're making changes. Now they're signing players. It makes no sense. So good luck to McFadden. I wish he would have it would have ended better than what it did. I think he could give a team one more good year.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised, Tim, because last year we saw him coming for some spurts when I think Zeke missed some time. Was it last year? 2 years ago?
Year before that,
okay, yeah, because when he filled in for some time, he looked like he did, had some spurts like he was back at Arkansas, had some good strides, showed a lot of bursts through the hole, and it was just surprising that this came all of a sudden. Life comes at you fast. I was pretty surprised. I don't know if McFadden's already checking out of football. I don't know how serious he is on his Twitter. I can see he's hitting up the Razorback football Twitter account, trying to lobby for the new open head coach position. Obviously, I don't think he's really going to get it, but hey, he may be serious and already of life after football. He may actually be interested in getting some sort of head start or his foot wet with the coaching aspect of life. So if he is, I wish him best of luck in that. Maybe he will be a great mentor. He's got a lot of experience and, a lot of years on him. So that'll definitely come in handy. So best of luck to him. But as far as going to somebody else in the NFL, I don't think so. I think he's done.
It's a shame too, right? He was a number 4 overall pick. He tore it up at Arkansas, him and Felix Jones, who ironically the Cowboys drafted the same year he came out. It's fitting that, they ruined Felix Jones' career, so now they're going to ruin Darren McFadden's career too. Here's the thing. You like that, Tim. Here's the thing, Tim. I just want you to understand something. You made a point. The Cowboys were dumb as an organization for this. That's not the only reason why they're dumb. They're dumb for a lot of reasons. But yes, this was kind of a dumb decision to make here. I take it that they like Rod Smith more and want to play him more. Okay, cool. Play the younger guy a little more. Plus, like you said, they're toast. They're not going to win their division. As far as a playoff spot, fat chance. Darren McFadden, number 4 overall pick. You kind of wanted him to have a better career. But for whatever it's worth, he had a long career, almost 10 years in the NFL. That's nothing to sneeze at. It doesn't happen a lot. Best of luck to the guy. Hated that he spent his, end of his career in Dallas. But, at least he had one. Sort of. Kind of. A little bit.
He was a blip on the radar. He helped me out. He helped me win a championship in fantasy one year. I traded for him while he was injured.
He rushed for 1,000 yards in Dallas that one year, didn't he? He had 1,000 yards, didn't he?
2,000 and change, yeah. All right, we move on. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers a threat to the New England Patriots? No, they're not. They are certainly not. Listen, you Steelers fans out there. Oh, we got the best wide receiver in Antonio Brown. Oh, we got Martavis Bryant. Now, Fogg, earlier in the season, in the offseason, we got the best wide receiver duo in the league. Who? Martavis Bryant? Oh, no, not him no more. Now it's Juju Schuster. Now it's Juju and Antonio Brown are a threat. Wait a minute. Listen, let me explain this to y'all. We talked about the Packers a couple of voices ago. So you're telling me you go to distance with the Green Bay Packers, winning 31-28, but Big Ben had to throw the last pass to win the game to Antonio Brown. You're telling me with the New England Patriots that's going to stand? You got to be joking. The number 2 defense in the league? Jim, they do not have the number 2 defense in the league at all. Who on that defense is doing anything? Do they have any Pro Bowls on that defense? I don't think so.
Well, yeah, of course they do.
It probably, you know what it was? They racked up a lot of stats playing the Browns. That's what it was.
Oh, come on.
That's what the fuck it was.
Weren't you the one saying the Browns are going to beat them week 1?
Yeah, he did.
Hey, listen, I won a spread on that game. I did win with the spread.
Man, get out of here.
I won with the spread.
You don't fare well betting, Tim. I don't believe you.
Listen, hey, that's my thing. The Steelers are not a threat to the Patriots. I'm going to say, like I said in the offseason, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is a threat to the Patriots. They don't have it. Sorry.
I'm probably, you know what? I mean, they've been up and down this season, Tim, but it's the Steelers with the same makeup and same core, you know, that they really have had when they've made some of those deep runs in the playoffs. So, and with some of the ways that the Patriots have played, in the beginning of the season, I think that can still be exposed here and there. I'm not totally going to write the Steelers off. I've tried to do that before. It's kind of backfired on me, but. Yeah, you could sit here and nitpick at their past games like they haven't, they haven't really won handsomely or haven't really put games away. Yeah, that's true. But then again, they're still coming out and getting the W's at the end when it really matters. So, I'm not going to put it past them. We'll get a glimpse of it, I guess, on the 17th when they actually do have the Steelers visiting them at FedEx. But what's really going to help them towards the end of the year is those home games. I think they got 3 or 4 home games. Yeah, 4 home games out of the 6 that they have remaining on their schedule. So they already played, the last one with the Packers. So they got 3 more on their schedule out of the 5. It's really going to help. So I'm not going to count them out, especially with the pieces they got on the offense. AB just showed he can go off at any time.
Look,
oh man,
I was down on the Steelers. I was talking trash. Go ahead.
Are the Steelers a threat? Yeah, the Patriots aren't just this unbeatable, beatable team. Of course they're a threat. They're kind of inconsistent. I don't really like that. I don't really like I'm not in love with them on offense. I'll say that. There's not enough consistency. I like their defense. I like Cameron Hayward. I like Stephon Tuitt. I like TJ Watt. I like Joe Hayden and Artie Burns. I like Mike Mitchell. I like Ryan Shazier. They got plenty of talent on the defense. They got some depth too, but on offense, I just wish they were a little more consistent. That's all. But yeah, I think they're a threat.
Tim, we disagreed on everything today. I was talking trash about the Steelers, and I'm going to say this. They're a threat. They absolutely are. The Patriots' defense isn't what it was last season. Isn't what it was the season before. As a matter of fact, all those teams I was mentioning about horrible pass coverage teams on the defensive side of the ball, well, New England ranks tops amongst those teams. And that's going to be an issue when you've got Le'Veon Bell, Juju Schuster, and the best receiver in football, Antonio Brown. It's going to be a shootout that the Steelers can actually win because the Steelers' defense, well, they're pretty damn good against the pass. They're pretty damn good against the run. New England doesn't run the ball well at all. And all those little factors that we were discussing earlier on that Dylan and I were educating you on as far as defense and running the ball and how that translates to wins in the postseason and eventually Super Bowl. Yeah, the Steelers have that recipe. Patriots don't. It's the reason why I continue to rank the Steelers ahead of the Patriots every week.
Fog, mate. Okay. If Della just came out and made a great point saying he did make a great point about the defense. And it's his defense. He's some good guys. Guys, if they're healthy, they play. The offense is the best crop on that whole team. The offense is what makes the team. So if their defense is looking better than your offense, how am I going to feel good about you going up against the Patriots? Now, brand new team. I mean, by they don't have the same pieces they had last year on offense. You're not going to just throw in a new guy, come in there, and you got that rhythm going. That takes time. It's coming up. Burkhead, that's a guy, brand new guy who just came in here. They're doing a whole lot of new. Everything is coming in place for the Patriots. Why is it a whole new crop around Tom Brady? Whole new crew, the whole new team on offense. Now, if I got it, now we're talking about the Steelers. Okay, Big Ben and Antonio Brown. I mean, Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver in the NFL, but guess what? Big Ben is older. He's not the same. Consistent. And then Antonio, okay, now when it comes down to Antonio Brown, if he's not doing his game, if he's not doing so good, where's Martavis Bryant? Oh, on the bench. So who's the guy y'all rely on? The rookie Juju Schuster. We're talking about
actually Le'Veon Bell's the second best receiver on that team.
Again, no disrespect to Le'Veon Bell. I'm talking about players who actually play. Has he played in the playoff? Yeah, I think one game in the playoff his whole career. Every time the Steelers advance, he's not playing because of injury. I don't want to hear about guys who don't play. I don't see the experience there. Pick a team that I feel is a threat to the New England Patriots. I'm going with. I'll say the Wait, hold on.
Burkhead has playoff experience.
LA Chargers. If the LA Chargers in the playoffs, to me, that's my threat to the Patriots. Why? Because everything Brady could do on offense with his team, Rivers can fly right back. Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram both lead the league. I think they lead the league in sacks combined. That's a great tandem. The secondary's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, you saw it the hard way, right?
Excuse me?
Saw that in person, right?
What's that?
How good the Chargers defense is.
Oh, yeah, I did. They bust the Cowboys' ass. Hey, listen, I seen it the hard way. I mean, Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, I forgot my boy's name, the returner, Melvin Gordon, his backup running back. I mean, let's keep it real. If I'm gonna pick a threat to the Patriots, it's the Chargers. Oh, I'm gonna say the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Because that defense can score. Steelers, I'm sorry, they're not inconsistent, in my opinion. All right.
Tim, I think you accidentally muted yourself.
Unmute yourself, Tim.
No, keep yourself muted by all means.
You're mad. Della is our draft guru. We're gonna be looking forward for him to do his mock draft. Hopefully with Brian E coming up soon. So Della, we have the Browns picking at 1 right now. The 49ers picking at 2, and we have the New York Giants at 3 right now.
Right.
What positions do each of them take in the first round?
Good question, Tim. Do you want me to answer this as a perfectly rational person? Do you want me to answer this as the GMs of these 3 teams?
GMs of 3 teams, how do you want to do it? Give them what they want.
Cool.
Give what they need to know.
All right.
Saquon.
So the Browns. Let's start with the Browns. They're just completely unfreaking predictable. Look, they like to do a lot of analytics, Moneyball type stuff. Looking at their roster, they have 2 first-round picks. Depending on how bad Houston is, they could both be in the top 10. If I had 3 positions, I would say offensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver. I would actually put it in that order. Joe Thomas is getting on his last hoorah. They need I don't know if Deshaun Kaiser's the answer. And while they're getting Josh Gordon back and they got Corey Coleman and they got some young guys like Ricardo Lewis and Shoot. Rashad Higgins. They still need talent at that wide receiver position. They need some talent at halfback too, depending on what they do with Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell. For talking about the 49ers, the 49ers, 3 position groups they need. Wide receiver, I would probably say defensive back. And then I would say quarterback. They got to upgrade their talent on the perimeter. They got... Look, I mean, even back when they were in their heyday running with Anquan Bolden and Randy Moss, they just don't got it. You know, if you're going to have a young quarterback, whether it be Jimmy Garoppolo or CJ Beathard or whoever, you got to give him that bona fide number 1 target. They don't have it yet. They need to look at that early. They need to address that, whether free agency or with that number 2 draft pick. I don't know if there's a wide receiver worthy at 2. Maybe it's a trade down, but they got to do something. Defensive back, they've invested some, assets in defensive back with like Eric Reed and Jimmy Ward. It just hasn't worked out. They still need guys in their defensive backfield. They can get thrown on pretty easily. I'm not worried about their front 7, right? They spent a lot of assets in their front 7 with like Reuben Foster and Solomon Thomas and DeForest Buckner and Arik Armstead, right? The front 7's fine. It's their back 4 that's laughable. The New York Giants.
Stop it. That's not funny.
There's not
Reposition groups.
There's not enough draft picks to fix that offensive line.
5 minutes. You want to be ejected from this broadcast? I suggest you act accordingly.
New York Giants. Number 1, offensive tackle. Number 2, running back. Number 3, it's a tie between outside linebacker and quarterback. What have I not said about Eric Flowers that I haven't said about? God, he's horrible. I feel bad. I feel bad, and I don't feel bad for the guy. He just gets punked because he's not that great. That said, he wasn't going to be that great at left tackle. I think you need to get a real left tackle in there and let him play right tackle or guard. I think you'll be a lot better. Right, that's a step. Running back, they got to get back to running the ball. They got the weapons. They got the Odell Beckham. They have the Evan Ingram, who's a bona fide receiver. They got Sterling Shepard. They got targets. They just got to run the ball. They need a bona fide running back. Paul Perkins isn't going to cut it. All of these. Listen, I said it about Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. There's a reason why Carson Wentz went number 2 and why Dak Prescott went in the 3rd round. There's a difference, right? It is what it is. So you gotta spend some currency to get yourself a running back. Whether you do it at 3 or whatever is your business, but it needs to be addressed. As far as outside linebacker, quarterback, if Eli Manning is really gone, it's going to depend on how they feel about Davis Webb. I get the feeling that they just feel that he's a backup. If that's the case, whether it's free agency or whether it's early in the draft, they got to get a quarterback. I would say they need to groom one, but I don't think they're in a luxury position. I don't know what the free agent market is going to look like. Maybe there's an older quarterback that you can get for cheap for a year while you figure out, is it Davis Webb or some other young guy? But they need to address that quarterback position with some longevity. If not, they need to upgrade an outside linebacker.
So, Della, come on, a quick mock. Just give us a mock. Your first 3. Give us
if Cleveland is sitting at number 1.
Starting with 3, Saquon Barkley, and go ahead, 2 and 1.
Stop it. If we're being completely reasonable, at number 1, At number 1, Cleveland should go Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA.
Ooh.
I don't think Deshaun Kaj is the answer.
No, he's not. We said that on Fury. Fury told you first. Go ahead, Duel.
I think they've ruined the guy's confidence immensely with all the benching and pulling back and benching and pulling back for guys that are worse than him. And how many concussions has he had already? Jesus Christ. I don't think he's the answer. I'm not saying Josh Rosen is, but I think he could be. San Francisco sits there at number 2. If I'm the San Francisco 49ers, I take Minka Fitzpatrick, defensive back, Alabama. He can play corner. He can play free or strong. He can be a nickel linebacker. He could do anything for you. I think his natural position is corner. I think it would be a great upgrade. That's why I would look at Fitzpatrick. From what it looks like, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be their quarterback they're rolling with, so that takes that off the board. I don't see any wide receivers at number 2 that are worth it. The Giants sitting at number 3. If I had to be a betting man, with that number 3 pick, I would have the Giants taking Connor Williams, offensive tackle, Texas. Yes, Saquon Barkley is sitting there. He is. And if they did go that route, it wouldn't be a bad pick. I just have a hard time taking a running back with that offensive line. Let's say in free agency they address the offensive line, then yes, I would go Saquon Barkley at 3. I just think offensive line is a more pressing need given what they're trying to do.
True. We saw Minnesota completely change their offensive line around, though. So last year it was a turnstile. This year it's actually doing pretty well for them.
Yeah, so that may be free agency. Maybe there's a tackle in free agency that you can get to move them. Then, then I would look at Barkley. Or I would, dare I say, I would look at Lamar Jackson at 3. Here's what's tricky about 2 of those teams. I'm not so sure that Hugh Jackson's going to be there next year, and I'm pretty confident Ben McAdoo won't be there. So depending on who they bring in, it could mean a lot of different things and a lot of different permutations.
Yeah, there's going to be some tackles out there for this upcoming 2018 offseason. We got Nate Sauter from New England right now. He's 29. Luke Jokel hasn't been the best. He's only 26, though. Greg Robinson from Detroit, he's only 25. Chris Clark from Houston, he's older, though. He's 32. Reno Giacomini, he's been good, but he's 32 as well. Donald Stevenson from Denver at 29. Gary Gilliam from San Fran at right tackle. Byron Bell. So, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot too great out here for next year in the offseason, but it'll be interesting. I mean, if they try to take the Giants themselves, try to take that little Moneyball approach with the offensive line, try to go with more like analytics than anything, try to rebuild from that status. You're right. That's the only way I could really see them going Saquon at number 3 is if they have really a plan to go for
now,
that.
if we're talking like dark horse picks for each pick, if Cleveland's sitting at 1, I could see them going Saquon Barkley, trying to go for the best player like pure on the board. Number 2, I would not put a quarterback out of play completely yet for San Francisco. What's the saying as far as quarterbacks go? If one guy if someone thinks he's a franchise guy, you take him. So maybe San Francisco sits there in 2 and says Lamar Jackson's a franchise quarterback. We like Minka Fitzpatrick.
You think they take him, or you think they take Rosen?
Well, if Cleveland takes Rosen at 1, if it was between Rosen and Jackson, I think Rosen gets the nod. Although I think Jackson has a higher ceiling, I think Rosen is the more polished prospect, as in he could play for you a little earlier. Jackson may need to sit a little bit and learn a little more. But But at 2, I know they made the trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I know they gave up a 2 for him. I don't know. If Kyle Shanahan is sitting there saying, man, I really love Lamar Jackson, I would not be surprised if they took Lamar Jackson and just said, all right, we'll have a competition. At 3, if there was a dark horse pick for the Giants, I would go Bradley Chubb, defensive end from North Carolina State, or I would look at Arden Key from LSU, both edge rushers.
Now, but it's another thing, Bella, because Teddy Bridgewater now is a free agent, quarterback free agent. Now, Shem, how would you feel would you want the Giants to make a move on Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback? He's young. He is young.
It scares me going from somebody that's stayed in the game for 200 games compared to somebody that almost lost his career in practice on a non-contact injury. That's stability already worries me right away.
So we all know Shem wants Quan Barkley. That's his guy.
Right now, my top two, honestly, Saquon would be a nice weapon, but it's hard to justify going offensive line again right at 3 when we just did it 2 years ago at number 9. It's hard because it's hard to argue the value in that high of a draft pick. So,
I got a question, Dola. You don't think that San Francisco would take Saquon?
Do I think San Francisco would take Saquon? Yeah, I think it's a possibility. Here's what it's gonna get. So let's say Saquon works out like a menace and people love everything, and let's say Cleveland doesn't take him. Let's say they go quarterback, which they should. There are going to be a lot of teams calling San Francisco similar to last year, wanting to trade up to that number 2 spot. I'm pretty sure New York doesn't want them to go past number 3. So you could see a team, cough, cough, Indianapolis Colts, that might trade up for a running back. Because, Frank Gore is getting a little old. You got some other teams that are potentially in the top 10 that, would really like Saquon Barkley.
Didn't the Colts pass on Dalvin Cook last year too? I think they had him and they decided to.
Yeah.
Well, I would think the Colts and the Raiders Raiders, and the Giants would probably be the only 3 teams in the top 10 that would possibly trade up to get Saquon.
Right. So, but that depends on how that top 10 falls out ultimately. That's something to watch out for. But no, I could totally see San Francisco at 2 saying, look, we got to get whoever our quarterback is a playmaker. And Carlos Hyde is cool, but Saquon Barkley is probably going to be better. Mm-hmm. So let's roll him. I just don't like taking running backs in the top 5. I really don't.
Shit, with the
I know Ezekiel Elliott's worked out.
I was going to say, with the way Sean Payne has worked this year, he's going to trade up for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
It's funny because Ingram is a free agent this year, so that's a possibility. Now, because Della, another thing also is, what about Sam Darnold? You didn't have him at all in the top 3.
I don't think he comes out. I think he stays in school. I think Sam Darnold is best served staying in school.
Yes.
Even if he gets a top 5 grade, he is better served staying in school. Because look at the potential teams he'd be going to.
Yeah, seriously.
You're talking potentially Cleveland. You're talking potentially the New York Giants. You're talking potentially the Colts. I think if Andrew Luck is done, they may go quarterback at 4 or 5 or whatever they pick. Look, go! I don't know if you watch college football. Go watch that game UCLA versus USC, and if you watch it, how his mechanics, he has a lot of work to do. He has a long way to go. Josh Rosen showed. Now, Josh Rosen, I think they lost that game. I think USC did win that, but Josh Rosen, if you look at him, you could tell, just from a mechanics standpoint and from a reading defenses and understanding the game of football, he's light years ahead of Sam Darnold. I think Lamar Jackson is light years ahead of Sam Darnold when it comes to that too. If I were making a board of quarterbacks right now, Sam Darnold would be my 4th quarterback at best.
Wow.
Maybe 5th. I just think I like his upside, but he has a long way to go. I think if he came out now, he'd be doing the same thing that happened to Mark Sanchez. He'd get picked high. He would now have a great career.
I'm excited to see Lamar Jackson come out. I'm really excited to see him play on the NFL gridiron.
I see. Last question, Baker Mayfield.
He'll go in the first round.
There's no way he doesn't go in the first. I mean, he's got the moxie, the 500-yard game.
The question becomes, does he go in the top 10 or is he just a first-round pick? I think if you ask me right now, he could sneak in the top 10.
I think he's top 15.
I mean, he's getting compared to Johnny Manziel as far as size, the weight.
I think that's all. All right, listen. Let's end that discussion right now.
With the Drew Brees.
Johnny Manziel is a far better athlete, has a far stronger arm than Baker Mayfield. Here's what Baker Mayfield has that Johnny Manziel didn't have. When you looked at Johnny Manziel's antics on the field and off the field, it was spelling of someone who just didn't get it, who didn't understand life, who spoiled, who was entitled. Mayfield's transgressions, he's been provoked, and he's just giving them back. Go back to that Kansas game.
Yep.
Had they shook his hand, none of that would have happened.
Well, not only that, but a coach. I think a coach on the opposite side of the field had done that, or the defensive player had grabbed their nuts,
right,
doing that to him and provoked him. So when he scored, he came out and he did that right back.
Right,
that's fire.
Go back to that Ohio State game when they went and planted the flag mid. But guess what? What did Ohio State do the year before? They sat there and sang their theme song at the end of the game after they beat them on their field.
Yep.
So he just returned the favor. I have nothing wrong. People talk about, oh, Baker Mayfield's immature. I don't think he is at all. I think he's a competitor, and I think he can kick your ass, and he's not afraid to tell you, and he has. You're looking at a potential Heisman Trophy winner. Is he small? Yes. Does that mean he's not going to succeed? No. He can make the throws. He's an athlete. He's mobile. That's my only knock on him right now is size. Some of the throws, I think, mechanics wise, all these guys mechanics wise have to, work on that. But I think he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't see the Johnny Manziel comparisons. Johnny Manziel is a far better athlete and had a far stronger arm.
How about Drew Brees? 6 foot, 6'1". They're both the same weight.
Yeah, he's a Drew Brees. He's a Drew Brees type who, if you put him in the right offense, could throw for 5,000 yards every season. And the guy's tough as nails.
I love his attitude. That seriously, coming from a Giants fan perspective, I would love nothing more. Don't get me wrong, I love Eli for what he's done for us, but I would love nothing more than just have the personality at the quarterback position go from the moderate, kind of quiet leadership to just, grab your nuts on the sideline when Carson Wentz is over there. Yeah, I'm excited. Baker Mayfield, plant that flag in midfield, boy.
Let me tell you personality-wise. Personality-wise, he's Phillip Rivers.
Let's go!
I was about to say that, yeah.
And we love Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Go!
Probably for all the wrong reasons. That and he has 10 kids. But the point is that we love his moxie. That's what he has. He has moxie, and when he beats you, he'll let you know.
Ooh, we got a YouTube live commenter real quick. The chocolate writer. She says Baker Mayfield is a punk to me. He can play, but I still don't want him to be the Heisman. Should have taken that flag and stuck it up on his butt.
she must be an Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
Listen, I like what Della was saying comparing to Phillip Rivers. That's what you want. You want a quarterback who can rally up the troops and get the guys going. I love the fact how during the game when he was he couldn't start from his the senior day game, and you saw the emotions not only from him and the coach, but you saw how the players. I mean, they had his jersey out there as if he's injured or something like that. The man's only he's just not starting. But I mean, I love that they backed him up. I'm not saying it's people. Oh, That's baby stuff. It's not about being a baby. The thing is this: they standing behind their quarterback. So I want to know the locker room. I want to hear how is Baker Mayfield in that locker room? How is he talking to the guys?
Tim, I will tell you
this. For your team.
My fear with Baker Mayfield, and I agree with everything Dilla just said. He's 100% on point. And my fear with Baker Mayfield is just that. People are going to look at his intangibles and not his talent and not his ability, and he could wind up in the wrong situation and not have success. I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't draft him in the first round. In my opinion, I would take Josh Allen ahead of him from Wyoming. I would probably take Clayton Thornton ahead of him as well. I like their size. I like what they bring to the table. Do they have the same fire as he does? No, but you know what? Tim Tebow had great fire and grit in the locker room and on the field too. I'm not saying that Mayfield's Tebow, but again, he needs to land in the right situation that's going to help him grow. And I feel that his attitude and his demeanor may upgrade his draft status into a bad predicament where he could potentially be a bust.
If you want a pro player comparison, Baker Mayfield smells a lot like Colt McCoy when he came out of Texas. Not saying they'll have the same career, but he smells a lot like him. A guy who wins a lot of games, won a lot. Colt McCoy won a lot at Texas.
Yep.
Made some pretty amazing plays, and guys loved him. But again, on the smaller side, also you're talking arm strength when throwing the ball down the field. Sometimes he makes those down the field throws that his arm, in his head he can make any throw. But some throws you're like, nah, bro, you can't make that throw. Slow down.
Well, I will say this. The three teams, in my opinion, that are going to need a quarterback after the Giants pick at basically in the top 5 is the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Minnesota Vikings, and the New Orleans Saints. I think Baker Mayfield will go to one of those three teams. And he goes in the first round, in my opinion. Hopefully the Saints will be the best thing. I know Bella comparing him. He could be like a Drew Brees type with the same size and everything. Being with Sean Payton, he would definitely be developed. That'd be the great situation if he lands with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. I think
that's it, fellas. Ain't that the thing?
Yeah, we can wrap that up, I think, for tonight. Any last departing words, fellas, for the evening?
I was looking around. Another pro comp for Baker Mayfield was Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that.
Man, that's a tale of two tapes, McCoy to Wilson.
Maybe that's your ceiling. Maybe that's your ceiling floor there. Maybe maybe at worst Baker Mayfield is a career number 2. Maybe at best he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. One thing that's going to get him far, or like you said, may bury him, is that swagger and that attitude. Because those guys in the NFL are going to be looking to punch him in the mouth week in and week out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good stuff, gentlemen. And as a Giants fan, I'm definitely mostly anticipating the NFL draft, even though it's about 5 more months away. So thanks again for tuning in. Thank you to all the live commenters. It really helps the show go along, and it keeps us entertained. So thank you for that. We'll see you Thursday, Tim and I, for those NFL pick'ems.
Yes, Wendy Sharp is on top of it.
She is the Fury MVP.
Thank you.
Lady MVP. Have a good night, folks. Thanks for tuning in.